Video 2, Electric Boogaloo. Okay, don't know, should I post them on the same day? That'd be 3. I hadn't posted like 2 months, now it's like 3 in 2 days, so. Alright, more of the Pittsburgh trip, Sweetheart of the Rodeo. If you've watched my last video, we're not going to rehash. We'll just continue on with the Vinyl Finds. This is a really cool record that Mark Ditch, a long time ago, had given me as VCLT. I had loaned it to a friend of mine. Mark had written an article that appeared in Ugly Things about this group. And when I mentioned it to somebody, and I said I had the record, oh, I'd like to listen to it. And I didn't get it back. It's not like a bad thing or anything. He just forgot, I'm sure. So I just bought me another copy. It was cheap enough. So this is David and Anthony, Walnut Street. Lots of covers here. Lots of Paul Simon. There's The Weight, you know, by the band. They do a Dylan cover. They do a Peter Yarrow cover. Really, really good, solid record. So if you're ever in Pittsburgh, they always have a copy of this at Jerry's. You should pick it up because it's, if you like Simon and Garfunkel, it's going to be right up your alley. Hey, this is Brave Belt 2. This is post Guess Who work for Randy Bachman and Chad. Actually, Chad Allen had left Guess Who in the early days, but then he got back together with Randy Bachman, and before he went to Bachman Turner Overdrive, and it's also got the other guy from Bachman Turner Overdrive. C.F. Turner, I think, is his name. Anyhow, so Brave Belt 2 on reprise, since Chris Brzezinski freaks out if you say that wrong. This is called Goodness and Mercy. I have not spun, I think Mark and I may have spun this, because the main reason that he's the one who found this. He probably wanted to buy it himself, but I said, let me see that, and then it ended up in my stack. Because it's produced by Bob Markley and Michael Lloyd. And anybody who's familiar with the West Coast Pop Art Experimental Band knows that they were 2 of the big players in that group. So Markley was just a money guy, really. Lloyd had the talent. This is a UK press. This is Chuck Berry, One Dozen Berries. I got this, I believe, at the end of the year. I had another Chuck Berry record in my hand that Mark talked me out of, and I'm glad that he did. So it was too much money. He was right. So got this one at Jerry's. This is Keith Barber, Echo Park. Echo Park was a song that, it says rare, I don't know how rare it is. My friend Alan, when I used to work at a smaller post office, he was a big fan of the song Echo Park, so I was glad to find that. I have not spun this entire record yet, so I don't know what it's like, but I'm sure it's singer-songwriter stuff. Echo Park, kind of a cool tune. This is one Mark recommended. This comes from Mind Cure. This is Marion Siegel with Silver Jade, Fly on Strange Wings. So if you're like a fan of like Fairport Convention or of, say, the International String Band, I thought it kind of even compared a little bit to Sweetwater. Maybe not quite as psychedelic, but it is in that vein. Maybe Cold Blood. If you're familiar with Cold Blood, they're a San Francisco group. This is going to be right up your alley. This is really good stuff. Mark recommended that. Here's one I found, because Curtis Mayfield stuff is hard to find, and this is the Impressions with Keep On Pushing. Pushing the car. Pushing too hard, as the Seed said. But anyhow, so you just don't see Curtis Mayfield stuff very often, especially at $7. I mean, dig that. Mark, of course, recommends this. This is the Bonzo Dog Band. This is a UK press on Sunset. It's a comp. And it's the Donut and Granny's Greenhouse. These guys are in the vein, also in the vein of like the Mothers or of Captain Beefheart kind of stuff. Also, this is their big record that everybody knows, Gorilla. Played this one, enjoyed the heck out of this. So that was good stuff. Mark recommended it. When I first got there, okay, I have to tell this story. When I first got there, Mark was playing a CD. I'm like, hey man, this is pretty cool. What is this? He goes, oh, it's like Delaney Bonnie. He said, I said, I knew you'd really like it. And he's like, we'll be able to find the record. It's all over the place here. And this is really cool. This is called Motel Shot. And we got this one, it looks like at the Attic. And this is a really sweet, nice copy of this. And what this is that they were just sitting around, jamming. There's with them and their friends. I mean, look at some of the people that were playing on them. Graham Parsons is on this. Dave Mason plays on this. Leon Russell plays on this. I mean, they were just sitting around a hotel and they just started jamming together. There's a lot of like country and a lot of gospel kind of music. This is really cool. And he That's why he had it playing, the CD playing in his car, because he knew I'd like that. And he was setting the stage to find this record, which we did. Well, he did. He found it. This comes from Eldy's. And I don't know if that was the 3-story place or that was that place up on the hill behind Yinzer's. I hope I said that right. I kept mispronouncing that earlier. So this is a psych record, The Illusion. I have their other one, and it's not bad. So this one will probably be pretty decent to be listening to. This is kind of listed as prog. I don't know. It just seemed like kind of folk to me. Really, this is the first of Felix Harp. So this was a pretty cool record. Another one Mark recommended that we found at Jerry's. Of course, Fleetwood Mac in Chicago. I mean, anytime you're talking about Peter Green, Fleetwood Mac, and I don't have it, and I find it, I'm going to grab it because that's the Fleetwood Mac that I prefer. I know some people prefer, you know, the Stevie Nicks and later stuff, which is fine. I'm a Peter Green era guy, but that's me. At that place, I don't remember what it was called. Mark maybe will comment and he'll tell me, but this little hole-in-the-wall place had a lot of punk records. Found this. Found a couple records that were pretty cool. And I've never seen this one before. This is the new Colony 6, Colonization. And this is really just straight up garage rock. They had some hits that were more in line with, say, like The Association, but this is when they were still doing garage rock. So that was a nice find and a nice pickup. Another one Mark recommended that I get. He has the original copy, but he said we'll find the reissue, no problem. And of course he did. And it's Spooky Tooth Tobacco Road. This is not like their later stuff. This stuff's we spun his original. I really liked it. I'm like, well, I'd like to find an original. He's like, well, you're not going to find the original, but they definitely had the reissue. I can't remember the label that the original's on, but it's not A&M. But this is from like 70 or 71 after they had the big hit. Then this came out. And this I got for my wife. This is on Decca. This is The Lady Sings, Billie Holiday. Big Billie Holiday fan, so I try to think about you sometimes, don't I? Oh, the mail's here, by the way. Found this. Oh, okay. So Eldy's is the 3-story place. That's what that's called, because I do remember getting this there. This is like a, I'm not sure if this is David. This is a Spanish pressing from, I want to say, like the late 70s. Or early 80s, like 78 to 82 in that range. And this is either his first couple of records or stuff off his first 3 records. David Bowie stuff, as we know, since he's unfortunately passed away, is getting harder to find. So I grabbed that because I don't have a lot of his early stuff. I have, 70s stuff and some 80s stuff. Hi, Chet. Whoa, big cat face. Check it out. Big cat eye. Whoa, that's pretty cool. Half Price Books have found this. Wings. No, this is not Paul McCartney's Wings. This is a psychedelic group. This is pretty cool, and it was only $10. So, Half Price Books, found that. This is pretty cool at that place with all the punk records. Their dollar section, found this just a cat just laying there. Mark's like, where did you find that? The only time I trumped him or stumped him there, because normally he was trumping and stumping me left and right. Found this, The Trip, and it was in the dollar bin. The record's okay. It's in okay condition. The jacket is completely in two pieces. It definitely needs to be glued back together. But in the sleeve, no one can tell the difference, right? And you don't play the covers anyhow. But anyhow, this movie's a trip. If you've never seen it, it's got Jack Nicholson and Bruce Dern, Dennis Hopper, Susan Strasberg. It's all about, this guy, Peter Fonda, is taking LSD, and they're trying to help him through his trip. It's weird. It's a weird movie. This is one that Mark had a copy of for me, but I went ahead and bought a copy anyhow. This is the Racket Squad. They're either from Pittsburgh or Ohio, so it's really easy. This record's easy to find there. You never find it here. I have their other one that Mark sent me, so this is cool. They're garage rock. This was a sealed copy, and this was at a place called Juke Records. And Juke Records was pretty cool too. This is The Road. It's kind of, I believe it's more like straight rock or blues rock. And they do some covers here. They've got the She's Not There, Mr. Soul. And this was sealed and it was only $14. I mean, I've seen this record before in a lot worse shape for like $20, $25. So to find it sealed for $14 was a really cool find. I'm going to save this one for last, actually, because there's a better story than this. But this is my favorite find. This is a French import from, it's a comp from 1990. And it's the Small Faces, the A's and the B's. But the reason I got it, because I'm a huge, the Small Faces are definitely my favorite band. And it's the Marriott era, the Rod Stewart and Ronnie Wood era when they became the Faces. I mean, they're okay, that's okay. But I like the Marriott Small Faces. Now, I don't care for Humble Pie when he went off with Peter Frampton. I don't care for that. So when Marriott and Plunk and McLagan and Jones were together as the Small Faces, that's the group I like. This is a French press. And I've got all these songs except for, I think, I Can't Dance With You. But I didn't have this. I get anything Small Faces related. Anything Small Faces related. Last story. Last record. Then we'll cut this off here. So Mark and I were upstairs listening to some records and playing. We may have been playing Deadball at the time. Or we may not have been. We might have been just sitting up there listening to records. And his wife came upstairs and, oh, what is that you guys are listening to? And it's not this copy because I ended up buying this. She's like, oh, I don't care for that very much. And this has been on my want list. So the next day we go to Jerry's, 3 flips in to the Just In bin, and I find this record. And it is weird. The Tingling Mother Circus, a circus of the mind, and it's bizarre. And it is. She's right, but I had to get it. So, if for nothing else, it was worth it to tell the story about how she's like, oh, this isn't very good, which is hilarious because she's kind of right. But I got it anyhow. It was $4. It's always anytime I've seen it in the past, it's been like $50. So that I found it for $4 is cool. Anyhow, my 2-part video, my trip to Pittsburgh, hopefully complete with pictures. You got to see Lulu. You got to see Chet's face up close. I'd pick him up right now. He's right here, but he'd freak out, right? And the Huskies are on. I think they're losing to Colorado. Boy, they stink anymore. See you next time. Bye.